This expedition vehicle behind me is the GXV Hilt by Storyteller Overland. Today, I'm going to give you a full tour, inside and out, of this Super C RV. Let's start with the chassis of the Hilt. They've built this on the Ram 5500 with the 6.7 liter Cummins turbocharged diesel motor. This has a 6-speed transmission, liquid spring suspension, and 41-inch MPT tires. Before we go through the entire exterior of this vehicle, I want to show you the inside first. And I'm going to start this tour with the cabover bed. Now this is a queen size bed, and to get up into the bed, there are a set of stairs. There are windows on both sides, and all of the windows have these bug screens as well as night shades, as well as a stargazer window above your head that does open. And there's a little button back there where you can set preset lights, so at night if you need to get up you can press that and only certain lights inside the camper come on. There is plenty of storage on both sides of the bed. There's a cabinet over there, and then there are these little pop-up pods for charging your devices. It has a regular outlet as well as USB-C and USB ports. There's a good bit of headroom here at the head of the bed, so it doesn't feel claustrophobic when you're sleeping at night, and this bed is extremely comfortable. So to open the window, 4 latches. There's the bug screen and the nightshade. The other feature that I want to mention in the cabover bed is that there is ducted AC, and they have 2 ducts above the bed. And I found getting out of bed at night is easiest if you just turn around and go out backwards. Now with this ladder in place, you can go in and out of the camper. You can also easily open the door to the bathroom. The only thing you can't do is access the pass-through into the cab of the truck. There's a pass-through. It's easy enough to get inside. They've actually padded these so you can crawl in if you have to get into the cab of the truck without leaving the camper. These seats do fold up when they're in use, so you have to make sure the seats are folded down in order to go from the camper into the cab of the truck. That's actually pretty easy to get in and out of the cab. All right, I'm coming back in to finish off this tour. I bet the kids would have fun going back and forth. Okay, well, now let me show you the bathroom. So this wet bath has a 4.75 gallon cassette toilet. There is plenty of room to sit in here and use it without hitting your knees on anything. There's a small sink, shower, large mirror. There is a fan back here, and a small little cabinet for storage. Now we're keeping the toilet treatment in here, but you could put a number of other things to use while you're taking your shower. There is a lot of room in here for me to take a shower. I would have no problem doing so. The floor to ceiling height in here is 6'5", and I am 5'11". I've currently got my shoes on, and there is plenty of headspace in here for me. Now speaking of headspace, inside the camper itself, it's 6'7". So there's even more room in here for you tall people out there. Opposite the bathroom is the galley. There is a 2-burner induction stovetop in here. Now this induction stovetop does come out, so you can cook outside if you want to. And there's a little Easter egg underneath the stovetop. On this side, there is a nice sized stainless steel sink. Nice sized faucet, along with purified drinking water from the 120 gallon freshwater tank. This also has a 45 gallon gray water tank. In terms of storage in the kitchen, there are these big drawers beneath the sink and the stove, 4 of them in total, and then these lock in place so they don't fly open when you're driving down the road. In the middle, There is a full-size garbage can, which is very nice. And a small utility drawer. Above the galley is the storage, or more storage. So there are cabinets all the way around in here for storing all sorts of different things. They are all padded inside so you don't hear things rattling around and they don't get damaged. There's this accent lighting all around the top as well as along the floor. There's an outlet in the kitchen here. And on the opposite side, there's USB-C and USB charging ports. And on the top, there's inductive charging for your phone. Above me is the AC system. And as I mentioned earlier, there are 2 ducts above the cabover bed, 2 more ducts above the dining, sleeping area back there. All of this does run off of the battery system. So there is 16.8 kilowatts of Lithionics battery along with dual 3,000 watt inverters. These inverters power the AC system, the microwave, everything that uses 120 in here. There's also 1,300 watts of solar on the roof, and these solar panels are built to withstand hail, so you don't have to worry about them breaking and cracking if you're ever in a storm. Across from the galley, there is a microwave convection oven, 4.6 cubic foot refrigerator, and for all of Kate's ice cream, a 2.3 cubic foot freezer. Next to all of this is a tall closet. We're using this closet to store all of our backpacks, but you can turn it into a hanging closet because all of these shelves lift up and out of the way and then lock into place. Now this dinette area and second bedroom area is probably my favorite place in the Hilt. You have these huge windows all the way around. All of these windows do open. There is a bug screen and the nightshade. And if you just want some air but you don't want the window open, when you bring the window in, there's this middle latch, and that allows there to be a gap so you still get some air coming in. This is just a nice place to sit, read a book, have a meal. The other night we were in here with a couple other friends having dinner. So there is plenty of room for 4 to 6 adults, and it turns into a queen size bed, which I will show you in a minute. Above this area, you have more of these storage cabinets. Below the storage cabinets are reading lights that you can press on and off, and max air vents front and back. One great thing about the max air vents is there's a setting for circulate. So one fan will push in while the other pushes out, and you can actually leave all the windows closed but still get nice air circulating through the camper. If you've had dreams of taking the Hilt just about anywhere and using it as your mobile office, well, there are outlets in the dinette for you to charge all of your devices while you are working. Now pretend it's gotten dark, you have kids, family, friends along with you, and you want to convert this into a bed. Well, let's do it. And here we go. We have a second queen size bed for all of your family and guests. Or if you don't feel like sleeping in a cabover, sleep here. This has to be one of the easiest second bed setups that I've ever put together in a camper. Now, if you felt like stowing the tabletop and leg, there's actually a place for it back here behind the rear cushions. Now you can kind of access the rear pass-through bay storage from here, but this is meant for this to slide into. That locks in place. In terms of controls, next to the dinette, there are a series of preset light switches that you can adjust and change however you want, as well as a water pump button since you are right next to the sink. As you come into the camper, there's another button for the water pump, as well as more preset lighting and the controls for the awning. Next to the bathroom, you have your lavatory light, system on and off, and one of the lighting presets. And above that is mission control. Here you have an on-off button for your water pump, water heater, indicators for your fresh and gray tank, along with your battery. So with our battery, we currently have 5 days and 22 hours left with a pack temp of 72 degrees. We're currently getting a bit of power in, and then the inverter on and off switch. In the climate section, it shows you your interior temp, controls for both vents, AC, and heat. Now the heat is a hydronic unit. This runs off of the diesel tank of the vehicle. It's also your hot water heater. In the lighting section, you have all the different presets, and then you can go through the presets and change them to whatever you want. When you're ready to go to bed at night, just hit this button in the top right corner. And before we go outside, on the door, there's a nightshade, little pocket, and a storage bin. All right, we'll start with the giant awning along the passenger side of this expedition vehicle. There are LED lights on the awning, as well as 8 perimeter light bars mounted on the roof rack of the camper. There's also a small amber light down here so you can see your way in at night. Above the cab are 5 off-road lights, and mounted in the 1/4-inch steel heavy-duty bumper are 4 KC lights along with a 20,000-pound winch. It is quite a high step into the cab of the truck, so there are running boards on both sides. This Ram 5500 is the limited edition, which means it has all the bells and whistles, including this nice big touchscreen. What I like about this is when you are off-roading, you can look at your surround camera and see what is around you as you're crawling over things, because that is a big hood and it's hard to see over when you're going around tight turns. So you can select your front camera and see what is coming ahead of you. While you're going down the road, there are left mirror views, right mirror views. You have a rear camera. It's a nice system when you're driving a 27-foot long camper. Up here are the controls for the liquid springs. Now you're able to set comfort, normal, and sport for the ride. Comfort I like for off-road. It feels like you're floating over the dirt. Normal, it's pretty much just going down the road. Sport is if you're in the canyons and you want the suspension to stiffen up a little bit so you can handle better and you're not rolling as much. That's what that's for. And then if you're going under 12 miles an hour, you can set the ride height either low or high. So if you make the ride height high, it'll help you get over obstacles and increase your breakover and departure angles. When we were driving out here yesterday, we were going up some fairly steep inclines, and it was nice to be able to select the off-road feature on this display so I could see my pitch and roll as I was driving. So let's talk about driving this thing. It has been a pleasure to drive. Kate even got a chance to take this for a spin, and she's really been enjoying it. Combined city highway driving, we got 10 to 10.5. And this has a 52-gallon primary diesel tank along with a 22-gallon auxiliary tank. So you have 74 gallons of fuel, which means at about 10 mpg, you'll have a range of 740 miles-ish, depending on where you're going and how you're driving it. The tires on this have a speed rating of 68 miles an hour. So I get on the highway, set it at 68, and I'm good to go. And this thing seems to want to cruise all day long with no problems. We are going to be taking this up to Flagstaff, so we'll get some more time to play with it and look for some future videos about the Hilt. Now the paint on here is a bedliner type of paint so that you're not scratching up your vehicle when you're going down narrow paths with trees on both sides. Between the cab and the camper, there's a diesel and depth fill, as well as the outlet for the ARB air compressor. This is a dual air compressor with a 1-gallon tank. There is storage down here. And this is where they store the winch to get the spare tire off the rear rack, which I'll show you in a second. All of these bays are lockable. Here's the cassette toilet, auxiliary diesel fill. Here's the wet bay. Inside, there is an outdoor shower with a water pump switch. This knob allows you to adjust where your water is going to, so city water straight to the fixtures, or you can fill your water tank or winterize and sanitize. Access to the low point drain, and this is your gray water drain. And here is the pass-through storage. It's fairly large inside, and there are lights so you can see what's inside. At the rear, you've got a full-size spare that you need the winch to take down because this spare weighs somewhere in the neighborhood of 250 pounds. There are invader racks on both sides you can mount things to, as well as a 20,000-pound hitch at the back. Here's the other side of that pass-through. Another storage bay, and a smaller storage bay next to the door. The GXV Hilt, fully loaded, weighs in just under 20,000 pounds, has 12,000 pounds of towing capacity, is 27 feet long, and about 12.5 feet tall. Now everyone's favorite topic, price. The GXV Hilt by Storyteller Overland comes in just under $450,000. Now for that price, I would love to know what your favorite features of this expedition vehicle are and where you might take this overlanding. I'd love to know. We've gotten it down some pretty interesting trails here, so there's a lot of fun to be had with a vehicle like this. That said, that's the end of this video. Thank you so much for watching. If you enjoyed it, please give the video a thumbs up, subscribe if you haven't already, and if you want to see more about cassette toilets and other expedition vehicles that we've toured, check out the videos on our channel and our website, we'retherussos.com. We'll see you next time. Bye. This video is sponsored by Storyteller Overland.